are we going from here?
Right. So it would be the case that half of all of those, that space, right? Half of that space is going to be contributed to an eternal universe, and half of the space is going to be attributed to some universe that isn't eternal, right? And then now we're looking at the space of all the universes that aren't eternal, right? And it seems as though we could do the same thing again, but with a cause, right? And we could see, okay, the cause could either be God or something that is right. So the conclusion of the argument is that given this probability space, God is compatible with 25% of them.
God is okay, and so what is that supposed to show?
Atheism wins out over theism. Just atheism is more likely than theism.
So
okay, so atheism wins out over theism.
No. But I don't think that. Maybe I'm saying something dumb here. But it could be that 1% of the think about this. I think it's a non sequitur, because let's take a classroom, right? What percentage of that classroom is going to have a teacher? It's only 1%. Right? Out of, if there are 100 kids or whatever, right? Or 100 people, is a very small percentage. But it doesn't mean that therefore there being a teacher in the classroom is improbable.
No. That's not the same. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying given the state of affairs of the universe, right? Given the state of affairs of the universe, and given how it could have been, all the possibilities it could have been, God rests only in 25% of that space.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that theism is any more probable or improbable. I don't see it.
You don't see
it could be that out of all the possibilities, right, that there's this small number among those possibilities that have a certain property, but then us being in those worlds are more probable than not, even though it's a small subset of that greater set.
Yeah, you're talking about like each world is probably it's not equally weighted. Is that what you're saying?
I guess maybe, yeah.
Like what you're saying is like there could be a possible world, and that possible world could be more likely than another possible world. Like for example, if this world were to have one more tree, that world is probably less likely than this world. Something like that.
Well, yeah. My teacher example was hopefully like the idea is that if you have 100 worlds and one world is a bit of an outlier in terms of having a special property, right? This property that no other world has, I don't think you can infer that therefore that world is less probable.
I'm not even saying any world. Yeah, I'm using the principle of indifference. I'm saying that given that all of these possible worlds are equally weighted.
Okay, and why would the theist accept that?
Yeah, it wouldn't, right? So they wouldn't. So what I do at the end is something like this, where I say that given that all possible worlds is equally weighted, this would be the outcome. Now, if it weren't the case that they were equally weighted, it would be the case that you would have to give an argument, or they would have to give an argument that would put the prior probabilities at least threefold for theism over atheism, for at least for the universes that are compatible with God over the universes that aren't. I would say something like that, and it would still be a problem.
Yeah, I guess there's a sort of theorem or axiom of probability that I'm missing here. Then, I guess I'm not quite clear what's going on here, because you're restricting the spaces, you're restricting the possible worlds in terms of all worlds where there's God or there's no God. Okay, and then out of all those worlds, there's a sense in which, it's kind of hard to understand that sense, but a sense in which 25% of those worlds are ones where there's a creator God.
Right.
Right. And then you want to infer that therefore, because that's smaller, it's less probable than the alternatives of no creator God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I don't know if that. I guess I don't. I'm not so familiar with probability theory to where like that would follow. Or maybe there's something I'm not aware. But um, again, I mean, like, would you say out of all the worlds where you exist,
Mm-hmm.
right, what percent would that take out of those possible worlds?
Yeah, I would exist. So where I would exist is like, man, it's gonna be hard to do it any individual person, right? It's easier to do it like with God because um, the fact that he has like
Well,
this.
it's like you can just do the same thing, right? Like you could just do. There's a world in which I exist, all other features remain constant, and there's a
Right.
world in which I don't exist, and all the other features remain constant, right? And um,
Well, I'm not doing that with God. I'm doing it like I'm saying that there either is a cause, right, and that cause could have been God or something else. That's what I'm saying.
you just say, well, sorry, what is that you're
I
saying? Say
wasn't
that.
saying I wasn't saying I wasn't saying there's a world that which God exists and then there's a world which God doesn't exist and splitting them off 50-50 like that. I'm saying that the cause of the universe could have been something that wasn't God.
All right, so the cause. So then we get, if your parents caused you, right? There's a set of worlds in which your parents caused you, or your ancestors caused you, whatever, and a world in which they exist, but they don't cause you, but you're still remain, all the other properties are remain fixed. So then, could you just run a similar argument, like a parity argument in that way, or no?
I don't think it follows that way. I don't know. Like, I have to like look into like what we mean by like I'm contingent, right? So I could have been some other way as well. There's so many factors there because it's like
So is
nuanced.
God, but I mean, and what I mean, presumably,
I'm just defining God as such that
you're
he's.
defining God as necessary.
I'm defining God, no, as such like that he created the universe. That he created the universe. That's all.
Okay, I don't know. Oh, by contingent you mean caused.
I just mean that I could have been different. Like I could have been some other way. I could have been called like
Yeah.
called.
So in God's the same way.
Yeah, God could have been different. That's why I'm
But
like
I don't.
we're
Is that supposed to
fixating.
be a symmetry breaker or no?
Yeah, no, I'm saying like we're defining God in such a way that we're fixated on him being one way. He could have been some other way. I agree that God could have been contingent, right? But I'm saying that um, in this scenario, we're defining God as one way only. Are we defining myself as
Well, but
one way
he's
only?
contingent, but in the same way that you're saying you're contingent, or your family.
No, I'm defining God. We're not looking at all the ways that God could have been. We're just looking at all the ways the universe could have been,
Yeah.
and
So we're
whether or
looking at all
not.
the ways. We're not looking at all the ways in the way that all the ways your parents could have been. We're just talking about there's a world in which your parents caused you, and there's a world in which they didn't, but something else caused you.
That something else caused me.
Yeah.
There could have been some other way that something else could have caused me.
That couldn't.
There could have been, yeah. There's a
Yeah.
logical possible world that I could
Yeah.
have
So
been
then
caused
you
by
run the
something
same
else.
sort of argument that you're
Yeah,
running.
we could run the argument of me being caused or uncaused. Yes. Or me being caused. I don't know if you would even accept that I could have been uncaused.
But
I don't
the
know.
point is that we parody that, and I have no problem with you being uncaused. And if we're talking about logical possibility, there's absolutely no problem, right?
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
yeah, you could do that with me. Yes, you can. You
So
could
then
do
you're
it.
saying,
Given
so then,
given what explains me in this world, right? It could have been the case that I could have been caused or uncaused. I agree. Yeah,
then that's an argument that your parents don't exist.
it could have been an argument that I could have been some other way if we didn't have the
If
facts.
we parody the argument, the argument is going to commit you to saying that your parents likely don't exist, right?
If we didn't have, if we didn't
Right.
have the data, right, where I was like, all right, I could have been caused by my parents or uncaused. Right. And then in the space where I've been caused by my parents, I could have been caused by my parents or not caused by my parents. Right?
Okay, maybe there's a version of this that I mean, like, so it sounds like what you're saying is that if if all we know that there's a cause, right, and we have no idea, we have no data to update anything, right, like,
Yes.
then it's not likely, right, that any particular thing, right, caused X, that's going to be less likely than any kind of general or type of thing that explains.
I agree. Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
And
I
it sounds
agree.
like that's the argument that you're running
Yes.
with.
Yes. I agree. Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
The more specific that you make God, the more the less likely he becomes, because there's room for error. So if we give God properties, and those properties are going to be some sort of like propositional properties, like properties that could be propositional, that means they could take on a value of true or false. And the more propositions that you give something, the more entities that you give something, the more likely that one of those propositions are going to be false, and therefore it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, well, I'm maybe I'll sign off on this, but I don't think it's any trouble for theists.
Why wouldn't it be trouble for theists?
Well, it's no more trouble for theists than it is for people that think that that think. I mean, you have to first show that that you have to first show that they don't have any data to update the prior, right? Right. That like
that I agree. That I agree. We could further have the argumentation of what the priors should be, right? And then see if their arguments can get the priors high enough to offset the improbability of God post.
But this is like say. I mean, it's like telling someone that thinks they have data to suppose that there's quantum fluctuations that brought about our universe or whatever.
Right.
You have an argument against their position that any particular explanation is less probable than a general sort of explanation.
I agree.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, they might agree, but at least it seems like the conversation just shifts to the data they might have for thinking that it's that particular explanation. Now, if you get them to agree that they have no data that kind of updates that prior, then it seems like you don't even need the argument at that point. They just kind of give up on knowing that God exists, anyways, right? So I don't. It's just I do have to go, but I'll listen to what you have to say there.
Yeah, no, I agree that if like they don't have any argument, then they just like that's it. Like that there is no argument to be had. I'm just like I could set that like you kind of use this as an argument like for atheism to start off, and then if they have some explanatory power that we could update the priors for, then we could do that. Then we could have the conversation. Yeah. I kind of just give this as an argument.
Like, I guess maybe you have to think about it, but my impression is that it's not so interesting in conversation because it only seems to work if they agree that they have no priors, right? Or sorry, they don't have any data to update on that prior.
I agree. I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
All right, yeah. And so then, okay. If that's what you're saying, I guess I don't have an issue. But sorry.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I gotta go. See y'all.
Okay. Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
Boy, I'm glad we got through that.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Like he's.
I mean, he basically told you I don't see why it would be an issue. It's not.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is great. What? He don't have an issue. That's great. Matthew, I know what you're gonna say, Matthew. You're gonna talk about the mapping with natural numbers and say that you could map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 8.
Nope, got something else for you.
All right, let's do this.
So let's hold to your premises already, right? You have half of the accountability going towards an infinite universe, going towards a caused universe. Out of the caused universes, half of that is caused by God, half is not caused by God, right? Or caused by a not God.
Yeah.
What if you add if you push, buddy? What if you simply add in another premise, like the theist view just adds in another premise? Okay, what if we take on a new true dichotomy here of sustained or not sustained? Right. Once you have a dichotomy of sustained or not sustained, you're going to have a position where you need something to sustain that world. So
Right.
your entire half of the pizza that is uh like infinite now would fall to this true dichotomy of 50% chance of being sustained or 50% chance of not being sustained.
Right. 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 I already did
Your
that.
25% that is caused by a not God falls in half, 50% of that to sustained or not sustained. But the God side doesn't fall at all. It remains at its position.
No, no,
So
no, no, no.
all the
Wait, wait,
theist
wait, wait,
has
wait. Hold
to,
on, hold on.
because it
Are we
has an
starting from?
explanation for sustainability.
Are we starting from the beginning?
Nope, starting from where you were at.
Oh,
Because
so
any position where a God fits is already sustainable. It doesn't need to explain where it's being sustained because it's already has it. The caused by God portion already sustains it. So you have that 25% stays at 25%. The only thing the theist has to do is present like two or three true dichotomies that are like 50-50 for a non-God world, but are explained directly by a God world.
no, no, no.
That would
So
allow the
yeah, if you have
probability of a God to remain the same, but cuts every other chance in half.
wait, if the other chances are in half, right?
Yeah.
You're still saying that God is going to be in this space, this probability space of 25%.
Yeah, you'd still stay at 25%, but all the other places fall down to like 12%,
I don't know. I don't know
6%.
what other places there are. It's either the case
because
that
the
God exists
because
or it
the
doesn't.
points no because the points fine like the let's just take that half of the world, that 50% of the world that is infinite.
Right.
All right, so to be infinite and like requiring sustainability,
Yeah.
it's the case that it's either sustained by a god or it's sustained by a not god. Only half of that world would then be sustained, and the God
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
portion
No, no, no.
can't
Well,
be sustained because there is no God
no, that's not true, Matthew.
in
No,
the infinite position, so it falls as well.
that's not true. No, no, Matthew,
It just
Matthew,
cuts out
Matthew.
chunks of the atheistic
That's not
position.
true. No, no, no. We start like this. This is how we start, right? If we're gonna say like that, God, if we define God as a sustainer to the universe, which is a different God now, we're not working with the creator of the universe anymore. We're just gonna say that God is the sustainer to the universe. Now
I
we
didn't
need
say
a
you would
completely
remove the creator part.
yeah. So
The
now,
theist would have no reason to remove that.
well, then it gets even problematic. But let's just stay at just sustainer,
Why
okay?
not combine a creator with a
No,
sustainer?
Well, I will show
no.
you that that's
So
gonna
no,
make it
that's
even
the.
less
I'm showing you
probable.
the problem with the argument.
I'm gonna show
The
you. No,
only
wait, hold on, wait.
the theist can accept everything you've said and then
It's
add
not.
on one further proposition,
No, because we're
and
talking
that one
about
further
Matthew.
proposition
We're talking about.
like kills your probabilities.
I'm saying, given the universe that we have today, how this universe, if the universe is sustaining right now, that we know that the universe is sustained. We don't need an unsustained universe. We see the universe how we see it. We don't have to worry about no
No, because
unsustained.
the theist just says the reason it is sustained is due to the God, and
No,
then
we can say no, 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 no. It's
you
logically
can't make that
Matthew.
claim anymore.
Yeah, but is it logically possible for the universe to be sustained other than God? To be sustained by something else other than God? Is it logically possible?
Yes,
So
that's
then,
why I say you. Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Since it can be the fact that it's either sustained or not sustained, that is another true dichotomy that cuts your probabilities. But it
no, but
doesn't cut the probabilities of the God
it does.
side because the God side already explains
What?
the
Wait,
sustaining.
wait, Matthew. I need you to break this down a little bit further because look, if it doesn't cut the probability to God, does it bring God's probability up?
It doesn't bring
So
God's.
it doesn't
Okay,
do
okay.
anything. So
Let's
wait,
do this.
and so if it doesn't,
Let's do
so wait,
this. Okay.
Matthew. So if it doesn't,
I want you to just do one thing for me. Okay. I am going to reference the slices of pizza that you have. I want you to tell me if being sustained is going to harm or help those positions.
it doesn't do anything at all. Like it just makes it.
Okay.
So look, I'm gonna tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay.
It would be armor neutral.
No, you really need to actually play along, man, because if you're not seeing it, you're about
Yeah,
to.
it's pretty
No, but
clear.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how. I'm gonna show you.
Take your position
Oh
of
God, bro. Try to explain it to me.
the infinite universe, right?
Okay. The
If the
eternal
theist,
universe.
the eternal, infinite, whatever you want to call it, the
Yeah.
same thing as far as I'm concerned. If you want to hold to that being the 50% pi, if the
Yeah.
theist posits that you have a 1 in 1 chance of the universe being self-sustaining or sustained by something else, what happens to that 50%?
It stays 50%. Like, look, I'll explain why. I'll explain why.
Okay,
Listen.
so now,
I'll
no, it
explain.
doesn't stay
No,
50%. It
I'll
gets cut
explain.
in half.
Yeah, but I'll explain. Let me just explain it, okay? If we define God, because we don't need the sustaining part, like it doesn't do anything. All right, so I'm explaining why. Explain why it doesn't. But before I explain why it doesn't, let me just go down. Let me just redefine God as the sustainer to the universe. All right, I'm gonna
No,
show you.
we're not redefining. We are
Then there's no
adding one
reason.
further proposition. We are sticking with the definition, but adding a further premise, adding one more proposition.
Yes, so
And
that would make God even less likely.
any theist is capable of holding that position that the God is the sustainer of the universe. So any position where the God is already fitting maintains the ability to be sustained, whether it needs to be sustained or not. So it doesn't change or reduce the probability of the God side, but it cuts the non-God sides in half every proposition.
Matthew, can I also add? Can you
Wait, wait,
also
wait, wait,
add
wait,
the
wait, wait, wait. No,
concept that
Matthew.
is
Let
a
me just
creator as
hold
well
on,
as a
Mike. Hold
sustainer?
on, guys. Hold on, man. Sheesh. Let me just do this. All right, Matthew. You agree that the universe is either eternal or not eternal, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then if the universe were not eternal, okay, that means that it could be caused or not caused by God or not caused by God, or caused by not God, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm already there.
Right. So then that God's
Okay.
Hold on, God's compatible with 25% of all those worlds. Now, if you want to
Then
say now,
see if those other positions are still compatible with the amounts that you gave them once you add in another premise of being sustained or not sustained.
wait, the
And
universe.
who
Hold on, Matthew.
created
Do you
the
think that the
non-God?
universe? Hold on, Mike. Matthew, do you think that the universe is not sustained?
That's yeah, the whole thing is you can't claim that it's sustained by a god. All we know is that it is continuing. So it's either sustained by a god or it's not sustained by a god. There is no position of sustained by a god within that 50% because there's no room for a god in that 50%. So it cuts it in half.
I have no idea what you're saying.
There's no room for a God in the not caused by God caused universe. So it can't be sustained by a God. It must be sustained by a non God.
Right.
Therefore, it gets cut in half. But the part that has room for a God can be self sustained or sustained by a God. And that entire brick stands up and doesn't get cut. Do you understand the difference here?
No. Because what percentage are you putting on atheism versus theism? What percentage you put on atheism based on what you're saying?
It depends on how many. It depends on how many properties and principles you attribute. Every time you put a proposition that is explained by a god, then you lose half of the atheistic position. So if you just go the sustained by a god, it goes to about what is it 37.5% chance of an atheistic world and a 25% chance of a god world at that point in time, and the rest become just like just stupid, unintelligible worlds that can't exist.
What?
I think my
Because
understanding is
you end up with
We're
a
talking
half of that
about
50% becomes a
Matthew, we're
universe that
talking about.
requires a god to sustain it,
Oh my
but
god.
can't hold a god.
No,
My
Matthew, look,
understanding
look,
is
look,
It
no,
becomes
Matthew,
an
Matthew.
incoherent
Matthew,
position.
what are you talking about? We're talking about this universe, right? How this universe could have come to
Yeah.
be.
Is it
This
sustained
universe is
by itself
obviously,
or is it sustained by a god?
it's either sustained, right? It's either
Yeah,
sustained by
dichotomy,
itself,
right?
right?
A true dichotomy.
It's either
Sustained
sustained
by
by
itself
itself.
or
Hold
not
on,
by
wait,
itself.
wait. It's either sustained by itself or not sustained by sustained by God, right? Or sustained by
Yeah.
something,
That
or
would be the
sustain,
dichotomy.
no.
or sustained. No, 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 no. Or sustained by something else.
I think there's one more you're missing. Ar. That's if sustained by God, sustained by itself,
Itself, or
sustained by
sustained by
something
God,
else.
or not God.
You
I think that's
can't say
one
Wait,
it's
wait,
more.
wait.
That's
sustained
what
by
No, it's a
something
trichotomy.
else
It's a
because
trichotomy.
that wouldn't be
What?
within the universe.
What are you talking about?
There wouldn't be anything exterior to the universe. That would just be the universe at that point in time. It's self-sustaining. It's
Yes,
either self-sustaining or not self-sustaining. Not
correct.
self-sustaining would be the God position.
Self-sustaining is not the God position. Self-sustaining is just a universe sustaining itself. Has nothing to do with God.
That's self-sustaining. If the universe is
Exactly.
sustaining itself, that's
Exactly.
self-sustaining.
Yes, and then it could
So
be
it's either
sustained.
self-sustaining or
Okay.
it's not.
Huh?
It's either self-sustaining or it's not self-sustaining. Law
Right.
of excluded middle.
Correct.
What is external to the universe in a non-God world?
Yeah, there could be something.
Nothing.
That's not true.
Nothing.
That's not
Nothing
true,
is
Matthew.
external to the universe.
That's not
The
true. What?
universe would encompass all things that exist in a non-God
No, no, no,
world.
no. That's not how we're using. No, that's not how we're defining the universe here. We're defining the universe all
How
by
are you
physically.
limiting the definition of the universe at that
No,
point in time?
no.
If it
Listen,
exists in
Matthew.
a physical world
Let
that
me
is
try to
non-God
explain it.
world,
Can I? Can I?
how is it not part of the universe?
Can I?
Why are you holding to physical existence? Even a physicalist doesn't hold to only the things that are physical exist within a physical universe.
What do you
That's
think
not
is a
even what a
physical?
physicalist says.
Okay,
A
okay. So what do you?
physicalist thinks that everything is physical or emergent of physical. If everything is physical or emergent of physical, there isn't anything other than that which is physical or emergent from physical. Therefore, it's self-sustained
No, no, no. You're adding.
by the
You're baking in.
universe.
You're baking in your worldview when you say that there only is the physical.
No, yeah, okay. What are you holding there to be? Why are you saying the universe is only that which is physical?
Yeah, because if we're going to posit that God lives outside the universe, then we have to have a symmetry breaker between what is the universe and what is God, so as to not include God into the universe. So
Yeah, we're talking
you
about
have
the
to say,
non-God portion. Why do we have an outside of the universe in a non-God
no, Matthew, you
proposition?
can't give a no, Matthew, you can't.
Yeah, what is outside
I
of
could
the
get a fucking
universe in a
phone call.
non-God world?
I could get a fucking phone call. Listen, right? It does. You cannot give a different definition, right, for one portion of the universe over the other. That's equivocating. You have to keep it
I'm not
all
giving a different
consistent.
definition.
Okay, then.
I hold
So,
to there being either the universe and a God or just the universe.
okay, Matthew,
Just the
no,
universe is a non-God universe.
that's not.
Universe and
Oh my
God
god, bro. Oh
is
my
the
god,
God universe.
Matthew, what's the definition of universe?
Yeah, I say it's the sum total of all things that exist.
Yeah, you can't use that. You can't use that definition
Why
because
not?
God exists in this
Not in a non-God
hypothetical.
universe, it doesn't.
Oh my God! But in a God universe, it does. So you can't use it. You're equivocating. You
No,
can't use.
so it's not
You can't use that.
equivocating. The
Yes, it
universe
is.
is
Oh my
no. It's
God!
either the case that you have the universe
You're
plus God,
equivocating. You're
or just the
equivocating.
universe.
Holy
That's
shit!
not equivocating. How is that
This is.
equivocating?
I'm trying to explain it to you, but you're not
A
understanding how it's
God
equivocating.
world has all that exists plus God. A non-God world
That's
has
not.
all that exists,
You
no
have to,
God.
Matthew. You have to give a definition of the universe so as to not include God. You can't say all that exists and then say that God is also not part of the universe but exists.
I think the
You
semantics.
can't do that.
I think the
You have to
semantics
give.
coming
So
out of
I
here.
literally just told you the difference between a God universe and a non-God universe.
Uh, universe.
Oh my God.
A God
No.
universe is the God plus all the rest that exists. A
That's not how
non-God
you
universe
define.
is everything that
Then
exists,
you're
but there is no God.
then you're begging a question
Wait,
against the atheist worldview because
No,
what you're
I'm
saying
not.
is yes, you are. I'll explain why. All right. Why is
Why are
God
you
okay?
insisting that there's
Oh my
things
god.
outside of the universe on the atheist side, but not on the God side?
Oh my god, bro. Because look,
Give an example,
Matthew.
AR.
Okay, I'll explain. All right. So say for example, that damn, I'm gonna have to like use say for example, ecperiodic theory. All right. Membranes collide so that the universe could exist, correct?
Yeah, they would be part of the universe.
Yeah, I don't grant that. Because when we talk about the
Then I
universe,
think your position's incoherent.
Wait, maybe all that's being said when
In a
no.
non-God
like
world, things can exist but not be part of the set of things that exist.
wait, when you always say
Yeah,
me,
wait, you were kicked? I didn't see you kicked. No, Matthew, what I'm saying is that in order for us to separate the universe from anything else, all right, we can't say that the universe is everything that exists, okay? Because then you look at, for example, God, right? And God living outside the universe wouldn't be something that we would accept because then how is
Yeah,
God living
because
outside
the
the
God
universe?
must be defined that way. There is no other things that are defined that way.
No, that's not what.
You'd
That's
have
just
to
begging the
give me
question.
something else that is
That's begging the
outside the
question.
universe.
That's begging the question against the atheist worldview.
No, it's
It
not. That
is.
would be
Yes, it
you
is.
equivocating, saying that you have the God world that doesn't have things exterior to the universe, than the non God world that has these exteriors.
No, I'm saying that there are things that could exist outside
Hello?
the universe because we define the universe is all that physically exists within the
No,
confines of
we
the laws
don't.
of
We don't
physics.
define it as physical existence.
Can we split it
Yes, we
as
do.
observable and
Yes,
not
we
Is
do.
observable?
gravity part of the universe?
Is this
Yes.
like an
Gravity is
observable
not physical.
definition?
Gravity's a property. It's
Okay.
not physical.
Wait.
Not in the same way we think of things
This
as
is
physical. It's a
crazy.
property of a physical system.
Does gravity? So you don't think that gravity exists? That's what
Wait,
you're saying. Then.
No, I say gravity does exist.
let me.
Let's somebody else try to explain it to him.
Yeah,
Then?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on.
I was gone for
Matthew,
5 minutes. Why are the atheists fighting?
Because
Okay.
he doesn't want to
Matthew,
hear that
hold
somebody
on.
has a
Wait.
criticism for his
Ma-
argument. He
No,
has a new
because he
pet
doesn't understand.
Oh,
argument.
He
He
doesn't
oh,
doesn't want to hear
understand.
well,
criticism.
well,
Guys,
hey, AR,
I'm just
AR,
trying to
AR,
explain.
wait, who
AR,
wants
really
to
quick.
talk?
This, AR, really
Any
quick.
true
I
dichotomy
can
cuts your
fix
positions
this.
in
Hold
half.
No,
on
you're
a
Wait,
second.
let's
equivocating.
both
You're
talk.
AR,
equivocating.
AR. So this,
Wait,
I
Hold
just,
John,
on.
John,
Hold
one
on a
second.
second. I can fix this. I can fix this real quick. Matthew, right? Waves and things like gravity, like a physicalist would hold to the position that anything that affects objective reality would be physical. Waves, gravity, and so on would be within physical.
Gravity
Thank
is not
you. Thank you.
gravity is not a physical thing. Gravity would be a property of things. It's an
No,
observed
no, 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 no,
phenomenon,
no.
not a thing. So
Matthew.
it would have.
A
Yeah.
physicalist can
Why
hold
are you talking in the middle of my
because you're
sentence? I
wrong. Because you're
listened to
wrong.
what
Because
you
you're wrong. Because
said.
you're wrong.
Now
Because
I'm
you're wrong.
responding. I
Matthew.
don't care if you think
Matthew.
I'm wrong.
Matthew.
Why are you
Matthew.
talking in the middle of
Matthew.
my sentence
Matthew.
after I listen
Matthew.
to you?
Matthew.
No, stop saying my name. I don't want to talk to you
Matthew.
anymore. You're stupid.
Matthew.
Wait, all
Matthew.
right.
So just because
Oh
you
my
Matthew.
call
goodness.
Matthew.
gravity
Matthew.
physical doesn't
Matthew.
mean that
Matthew.
all
Matthew.
physicalists hold gravity. You
Matthew.
can say my name a
Matthew.
thousand times. It's not
Matthew.
going to change anything,
Matthew.
man.
Matthew. Matthew.
If gravity is an observed
Matthew.
phenomenon,
Matthew.
it is not
Matthew.
a
Matthew.
thing.
Matthew.
It would be the
Matthew.
emergent
Matthew.
property
Matthew.
of a
Wait,
thing.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
So if you want to just
Matthew.
completely
Matthew.
undermine what a
Matthew.
physicalist is,
Matthew.
that's your position.
Matthew. A
You can say my name
physicalist.
as many fucking
Yeah.
times as you want, but you're the one who interrupted me. You understand that, right?
Matthew. A
That's crazy.
physicalist.
Why are you crashing out?
Matthew.
Yeah, why are you crashing
A
out?
physicalist.
Yeah, you don't know what a physicalist is. You might be your position.
Because anything that's
It's not a
physical
requirement.
affects objective reality.
That's
Gravity
not
affects
even the
objective
definition of a
reality.
physicalist.
Yes, that is a physicalist.
No,
A
it's
materialist
not.
will consider waves and gravity immaterial. Waves are
Okay,
physical
so since you
as long
don't
as they
understand
affect
what
objective
gravity
reality.
is,
That's
since
really
you don't
how the
understand
semantics are
what gravity
parsed out.
is, maybe you need to be educated.
Gravity
Do you
is an
think
emergent
gravity
property
is a
of
thing?
objects, but they
Oh,
are still physical as long as they
amazing.
affect objective reality.
So a physicalist can simply hold to the universe being comprised of things that are physical and the emergent properties
I
of
think
the
it's
things
I
that are physical.
might be wrong here, but you might be
You don't
describing
have
like
to
a
call
materialist.
gravity physical. You can
Gravity
say it's
is
emergent
physical as long as
property
they
of a.
affect
This is a
objective
terrible.
reality.
This is
That
a
is a
terrible argument
horrible
against
argument.
physicalism.
You might be
Matthew,
describing
That's
it as
an
materialist.
absolutely terrible way of
That's
defining
not.
physicalism, fool.
That's not how you
That's literally
That
how
define.
would be
physicalism is
held
passed
That's
down.
not
to
physicalism,
thoughts
bro.
being physical.
Matthew, that's not what physicalism is.
Yes, it
It's not.
is.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not. No,
I
it's
think
not.
Yes, it
That's
is.
not what
Matthew, I think you
physicalism
might be
is,
describing
bro.
If
materialism.
you use Fool's definition, then he would have to hold to thoughts being physical. And
Yes,
that's
that
Sure,
dumb.
the
yeah.
physicalists will say thoughts are physical. I think Matt,
You
what you're
can
describing.
hold, a
Holy
physicalist can
shit.
hold to
Wait,
physical
wait,
things having emergent
wait,
properties.
Matthew. I think what you're describing here is like more like, I could be wrong, but I think it's materialism, which is like a subset under physicalism a little bit. But
No, I'm not a materialist. I am a physicalist. And just because the fool wants to like act like a fool doesn't mean that I am wrong.
Whoa. Whoa.
Okay, Matthew.
wait,
Right?
Slam
So all
dunk
we're
on that
saying,
insult.
Matthew,
Wow.
Matthew.
Materialism is such an old, outdated. It was a view
Yeah,
when
seriously.
Aristotle was around that said that everything was reducible to matter. Right? That's obviously not a subset of physicalism. It's just an outdated view.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. So Matthew, what we're trying to say here.
I still can't hear AR for the record.
You're,
Fuck.
why are you like running away from the
I think
point
that's a you thing,
anyway?
Aaron.
Okay. The point,
The
Matthew.
point
The
in
point
this is any dichotomy that is reliant on a god
Holy
leaves
fuck.
the chance of a god remaining the same, but
No, it doesn't.
slashes the position of atheism in half.
Holy fuck. No, it doesn't. What
It's,
the fuck?
So,
if you
so
believe that
hey,
it does,
really,
then you
really
don't
quick, really quick,
understand math.
It's
really,
God. It's
really
either
quick,
God or not God. Any
really quick.
world
So
where it's not
this,
God is still atheism.
wait a
What
second,
the
wait a
hell?
second, wait a second, really quick, wait a second,
Every
wait a second.
time you add a
AR,
property, it reduces that room for a non-god
AR,
world in half.
What the
Okay.
fuck are you talking about, Matthew?
You
AR.
can
So
do
really
the
quick,
same thing on
so
the atheist side too. It's a
That doesn't make any
flawed
sense.
AR, so
argument.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
AR. So really quick, yeah, really quick. So this started with me. What you're saying is entirely it's a prior probability argument, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a posterior probability argument. A single prior defeats it. A single prior
Yeah. A prior
immediately gets rid of the argument.
could defeat it. Yes.
No. It doesn't just could. It does.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
you
So
don't even need the
here's the
priors.
thing.
It's defeatable by just
Right. So
adding in extra
here's the thing
It's
that I
not
thought.
defeat. No, Matthew. No, that's not
Wait,
how that
wait,
works.
one second. So this is all you're saying, okay? It's going to be a type and token distinction. So if we say that the type of God in question, right, or the type of universe or the type of thing that causes the universe, no matter what you want to say there, is going to be more probable than a token of God, then you're just going to be like absolutely correct. But a single prior gets rid of that. So when Danny got off, I went and I talked to him for a second, and so it would be basically like saying this: if we take the set of all mammals, right, and then we take the set of all not mammals, and we say, okay, hey, there is an animal inside of this hole. It is either the case that it is a mammal or not a mammal.
Right.
Well, obviously, the probability that it's not a mammal is going to be higher. But upon a single prior, even if someone says, hey, I've experienced the love of Jesus, the argument goes completely out the window.
I don't
And
think so.
that's why it's not forceful.
I don't think so. I understand what you're saying. The only thing is like, I don't think that the claim itself, right, like as a prior, you got to give an argument, bro. Like you can't just.
No, you don't. Not based off the argument you're giving. The argument you're giving is just, it is as simple as this. A specific type of God is less probable than the set of all other explanations.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah, and if that's the case, a single point of evidence, whether it's anecdotal, and Dan even said, he's like, someone could read the Bible and that could be enough to overcome the argument, right? And any theist you talk with, a single prior defeating the argument just means the argument's vacuous. It's not. It has no force behind it.
How did you raise the probability to threefold with just like a claim that only raised the probability by a little?
Whose child is unaliving
Right,
over there? What's happening,
you
John?
agree,
John's
John, you
child.
agree, like, for example, that if I make a claim that raises the probability,
Well, children to be apt, but
John, you agree that me making a claim,
dude,
um,
Sheen urgent delivery. These Chinese fucks.
so, like I said,
I like that Cage is just talking over
does
AR
Cage
because
I can't
pretend
Cage
like he
can't
can't
fucking
hear
hear me?
hear
AR.
him.
I feel like Cage
Sounds like a
pretends.
you problem.
Cage is
Sounds
Restart
like
your
a
pretending.
app,
you
Cage.
problem. Oh, please reinstall your
Wait,
app. Please
I
make
love
it
did
you,
you
look
get
like
that?
Cage.
A30.
Cage, I know you love me. Don't play hard to get. It's okay.
Isn't it like
Mwah.
fucking 2 a.m. for you? Go to bed.
It's 9:30 p.m.
All right, so John, what I was saying
Why'd you
here
use
is that
PM? Like,
John,
whatever.
what I was saying is like the claim itself. Do you think that a claim raises the probability of a proposition to more than 50%, or to threefold?
It's in fucking Shenzhen, China.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if all you're giving is a prior probability argument upon a single person having a prior that's going to represent like the actual world, right? It's going to represent not just the logical space, but it's going to represent the actual world. So now you're getting into not the logical space, but you're getting into like some metaphysical space or nomological space or something like that. Right? Well, not nomological because that's just going to take account like the laws of nature. But the moment someone says, like for example, what would be a good prior that would just overcome this instantaneously? Oh, the moment someone says, "Hey, there's background radiation that shows us that Big Bang cosmology, the universe probably came into existence rather than is eternal," right? And I think that is enough justification for me to say that overcomes this. That type of prior just completely blows the argument out of the water. Like, and like I said, Danny said, even if someone says, I have a prior where I've had like a personal experience with God, you know how many Christians would say, because you're no longer just talking the logical space. You're bringing in an act. Yeah. So it would basically be the same thing like the whole, right? So you have a definition of a particular, which is going to be like a token. The definition of that particular. So if you have a whole and you say, okay, it's either a fox or it is not a fox in that hole. The probability that it's not a fox is going to be eating higher than a fox because you have that token, you have that particular, right? Now, if you take a type and you say, now, it's going to be the same thing. You take a type of God and you say, okay, this type of God, right, that is stipulated as the creator of the universe, and you look at that same whole and you say, okay, there's a type being mammal. It's not just like a fox or it's not just some other thing. You say the type is mammal. And then you say, what's the probability that it's a mammal or a not mammal in that whole? Well, the probability is still going to favor the not mammal, right? But upon just an instantiation of a single prior, the argument falls apart because now you're actually looking at the evidence, and so you update this prior probability regarding the logical space, and your posterior probability now greatly exceeds that notion based off of that. Yeah, but you're working on a prior probability. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're working on the prior probability of the logical space between a particular token of God, or if you want to say like a creator God, which is a type, and a not God, which would be anything else than this particular type. Or if you say so, the Christian God would be like the token, right? You would say it's the Christian God. It's all loving. It has the omni properties. It is the one who inspired Scripture. That's the token type. So anything that's not that is going to be more probable than that, just in virtue of it being a token. But if I say a type of God and I just say, okay, it's a creator God, a God who created the universe, you're still going to have the same thing. That all the set of all explanations in the logical space are going to be greater than that type of God, right? Because it's just like a mammal and not a mammal. But again, upon a single prior, someone saying I had an experience with Jesus, someone said, you know what, Jesus was a historical person, or something more forceful, like saying, hey, I'm looking at science and I hold to Big Bang cosmology in reference to the expansion of the universe from a single point. Upon that, you have a prior that just immediately obliterates the argument. Say again. Yeah, his argument. I understand that his argument now is just based off of type. Why the
Oh,
argument itself?
did we lose everybody?
That's why the argument. That's
Should,
why the argument itself dies in its before it's even able to
Yeah, but that's I think that's the point.
pride.
We're keeping it simple without adding the minimum amount of like
I
criteria
I can't
possible.
hear you. You're talking really really low.
Oh, sorry. That's the point, to keep it simple and adding the minimum amount of like priors. That's why like start adding some like maybe you know someone believing in God or anecdotes is not the reason why this argument succeeds. Or fails. It's like I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's what's being talked about.
Oh, that's
Um,
exactly what's. Oh no. That's exactly the argument back on AR that a specific type of eternal universe, right? So let's say like the Silic model, right? The Silic model of an eternal universe is fundamentally less probable than the set of all non-Silic models of the universe, right?
uh, yeah, go on.
Yeah. So we have a specific type of or a token of universe here that's going to be representing the eternal universe, and then we say, okay, based off of that token of universe, the Silic model. The Silic model is going to be exceedingly less probable, not even like 25%. It's going to be exceedingly less probable than the space of non-Silic model universes. Non-Silic model universes are going to be more probable just based out of like quantity, right? So even running it on that, the argument that he makes would actually go complete. It would turn against him. And so what he would have to do is he'd have to
wait,
give,
how
okay,
is
I have this justification.
wait how you're the one. Wait, how does what are you talking about that would go against me? Like let's just grant.
Yeah. So if you granted if we said there's an eternal universe, right? And you
Okay,
say you believed in a specific token of eternal universe,
I don't.
right?
No, I
Let's just say
don't.
like the silicon.
But that's not what I'm doing, John. What I'm doing is saying
No.
that
I'm
hey,
not
look.
saying. I'm not saying. I said let's say that you're doing that. I'm not saying that's what you
But
are
then,
doing. I'm
but
saying
then you're
let's say
not.
you do that. Okay.
I want you
Okay.
to poke holes at like my
So let's say you
argument.
have the notion of it. Wait. Yeah, I already did.
Yeah, you're saying that there's some priors.
Your argument's defeated by a single prior.
Yeah, you're saying that there's some Yeah, I want to know how you're justifying your priors.
Yeah, so your priors are going to not just be in the logical space, but they're going to be like in actual reality.
What?
Because you're
So
not,
like
because again, the
that's what I'm doing.
argument you're making, the argument. Okay, so do you understand what I meant by the mammal in the hole?
By the what?
Did you hear that part? Did you
The
hear
mammal.
that
Yeah,
part
yeah.
about the mammal in the hole?
You're saying that like mammal or not mammal, and you're saying it's likely to be
Yeah. So
mammal over like not mammal, or
no,
likely to not
no,
be a
no,
not
no,
like
no, no.
it's more
It's
likely to be
more
not mammal.
it's more probable. Yeah. So mammal is the type, right? Because we're not specifying like a specific fox, or we're not specifying something
Yeah,
specific.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mammal is mammal's the type, right?
Yep, yep.
So if I asked you the question, what is more probable of what's in the hole, a mammal or not mammal?
I
That is
agree.
the
It's not
argument.
mammal. Yeah,
That's
not
yeah,
mammal.
that's the
Correct.
argument you're making.
Correct.
That's the argument you're making. But
Correct.
upon a
Yes. Yeah.
single prior, it just completely gets rid of that.
Yeah. So you're saying like given a prior, and the prior is that you didn't you're not in the hole, right? Like so you don't know what's in the hole, but you see things surrounding the hole, and what you see around the hole is that you see fur, and when it comes to fur, only mammals have fur, so therefore you can infer that there's a mammal in there. So you're saying that type of prior is going to raise the probability of it being a mammal to like 99%, right? Like that type of thing. Say there's like one animal that may have fur
It
that
might
isn't a
it
mammal.
might it might not be 99%, but it's going to raise it over not mammal.
I agree.
Yeah. So
If it depending on the evidence, right? I agree, right? But if it's something like that, like somebody made a claim, you heard somebody say it's a mammal, right? Like somebody made a claim that it was a mammal, but they're not too certain, right?
well,
But they say that
let's take like the weakest justification someone can probably bring in reference to convince someone else. But it
hearsay.
would be something. No, well, take like anecdotal experience, right? That's the weakest justification
That's
someone
not.
can
No, it's
present
not. No, it's not.
to someone else.
No, no, no. Anecdotal is stronger than hearsay.
No, no, no. I'm saying in like convincing someone else.
Yeah, I'm saying that like if somebody's heard from somebody else what they know, and they're saying that, oh, I heard it from this person that this happened. That's the weakest evidence. Like a second, third hand account or fourth hand account.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that, right?
Now
Yeah.
that claim, now that type of claim, like if they say like, oh, there was like some mystical creature that fell down there, like a dragon or something. Given like priors, it's less likely to be the case, right?
But you would need to
John.
justify
At this
the
point,
prior, no?
John, I'm not gonna lie to you. At this point, you might as well get off the app. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you,
But
bro.
like I get what John is saying, but you would need to have like a justification that is sufficient enough for you to for AR to accept that prior.
So
I don't know because
I have a question about the
it's,
infinites, AR.
yeah. Can you hear me?
John got like 20 kids.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I'm saying like John, right? Like the weakest, whatever it is, right? It doesn't seem as though that any claim by itself is gonna be enough to raise the probability of the proposition to put it over 50%. It's just not gonna do it.
You would need to have proper justification for the claim,
Yeah.
suffice enough for AR to be convinced that it could do that. But like, I don't think you could give any form of argument or prior or like any experience that you could.
Oh no. We're not saying for AR. We would just be saying for the theist.
But I mean,
What?
no.
So
For
so
the
a theist would just take any claim? That's not a justification for
I get
it.
what John is saying. John is saying, like, propose, like, imagine this. Like, you tell a theist this argument, and then the argument, like, the theist is like, oh, okay, I understand the argument. And then, like, or just like agnostic, and then the agnostic has some sort of, like, anecdotal experience, like some crazy experience. Like, he sees a dragon, and the dragon says, I am God, blah, 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 right? Are you saying that would be enough to make the probability for that person more than 51%? Or more than 50?
Yeah, exactly. It's just saying that the argument doesn't have any course, upon the instantiation of a single prior that is actually going to be evaluated by the person. So the logical space, just having to do with the logical possibility that a specific type of God is less probable than the set of all other non-God options. That's just that's perfectly true.
I feel
But
like
if someone says a specific type of God exists because I felt
like they have some feeling that they're not going to. You're cutting out.
That's justification for their belief. Hold on, wait.
Yeah,
Just to be clear,
for their
John,
own.
that's going to be justification for their belief in that whatever in Proposition X. It's not going to be justification for Proposition X existing or likely to exist over atheism. It's just not going to be the case.
And even then, like, it wouldn't be. I feel like it wouldn't even be sufficient enough justification for their belief. Like for them, they might feel as though it is sufficient enough for them to believe in it.
Right. It's just an attempt. Yeah, but that attempt only works in the space of just such a justification for the belief, even if you were to present the argument.
Because like you could say, oh, I have experience, and then that makes me, like, you give the argument to somebody, and that's if somebody like agrees with the argument, then they have an experience, and they're like, okay, this makes for God more than 50%. But then like you could just propose, okay, what if you're like a brain in a vat or some shit, right? Like it wouldn't be enough justification even for their own beliefs.
Can you all hear me or no?
I can.
AR, I have a question about the infinites. So like, if the probability space
using atheism.
If the probability space is infinite, and we can map them one to one, can't we also map the 50% to the same infinite? Like it seems like they don't collapse to actually 50%.
I don't know what you mean there. What are you saying? I don't get.
So like, if we have an infinite number line, we can map every single digit in the infinite number line to a section of the number line, right? We could map it to the infinite numbers between 1 and 2.
What?
Right?
What are the numbers representing?
The probability space.
Yeah, I mean, what probability?
Right. So any section of an infinite number line can be mapped to a smaller section of that infinite line, right? So they're both the same size infinite.
No. I'm not doing like natural numbers versus like rational numbers. We're just talking about a countable infinity, and we're talking about the fact that for every universe that you can conceive of, right, it has some set of properties. And then
seems like it only works in a finite probability space.
Huh?
Seems like it would only work in a finite probability space.
No, we could map it.
What's 50% of an infinite?
No, you're looking at 50% of an infinite.
Still infinite, right?
No, but you're not Sage, right? We're saying this. This is what we're saying, so you can understand, right? Any universe with a set of properties. Let's say it has properties, like 5 properties. Let's say the universe has 5 properties, right? It's gonna be property 1 has a property of X, property 2, property of Y, property 3, property Z, right? X, Y, and Z. But they could take on X.
So if I take the number line and I say all natural numbers, right? And I could say half of them are odd and half of them are even. Which one, like, are those half of the original set or the same size as the original set?
Those are gonna be the same size as the original set. But the point is that they're not. We're not working with numbers here. We're working with actual possible worlds, whereby you can actually.
Could we number each one of those worlds?
No, I understand your contention. You're trying to say, like, for example, there's as many natural numbers as there are like even numbers, right? So that because you can compare, like, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can map it to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But that's not exactly analogous to the real to the world things that we're doing here, because what we're doing in the real world is that you can come up with a universe, right? Whatever universe you can come up with. And it has a certain set of properties. Now, given that it has a set of properties, this universe, could still be eternal or not eternal. That's all we're saying. We're given every universe with a set of properties to either be eternal or not eternal, because it's logically possible for it to be either eternal or not eternal. So it splits off to 50-50 for every conceivable universe.
It does, but you're the math whiz.
I'm saying that like every universe has the property of being eternal or not eternal. Every single one. Every single possible universe has that property.
Damn that.
Yeah.
But it seems like if I could say that the set of natural numbers either has the property of being odd or even, that would be the same thing.
You could do that. You could do that. That's fine. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that.
Both agree with natural numbers that would not be half of the.
Yeah, you could do that too. You could
It'd be equal to the total set, right?
Yeah, you could do that too, where you map it to like you could map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then those two would just be two 50-50 between those two, right? Like it would be equal to each other because they're equal.
It wouldn't be they wouldn't be 50-50. It would be like 100-100. Because they're the same size, right?
It's 50-50. Same size means that you could split them into two and it's 50-50.
Like each of those sets is as large as the same set.
Well, let's
is the original set.
Yeah, let's do it this way. Like say for example, we have. I'm trying to explain it better. Maybe I could explain it this way.
The set of natural the set of all natural numbers is the same size as the set of all even numbers, right?
Yeah. No, I got you. Okay. Let's say, for example, we have like a number line between 1 and 2, right? Between 1 and 2, is like there's an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2. Infinite amount of real numbers, by the way. So there's an uncountable infinity. Okay. Now, let's say. Let's say that that any for any given worm that can exist, the worm could either be it could be within 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Okay? But let's say, try to think of like another type of like thing here. Let's say, okay, so let's say there's two types of worms, right? There's worm X and worm Y, okay? But there's like different species of worms, right? Worm X could take on the probability space of being any number, like it could be any length of 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches, okay? But the worm X, or sorry, worm Y, could only take up the ranges of 2.5 to 3. So one of them goes from 1.5, no, sorry, 1.5 to 2.5. Let's say 2 to 2.5, right? So 2 to 2.5, right? So it has a range of 2 to 2.5. All right. Given that the worm is 2 inches long, what's the likelihood of it being worm X over worm Y? Like, you could do something like that, even though there's an infinite amount of numbers in between. You understand?
Nope.
There's like have you ever done like continuous distributions among a infinite set? You never did like fuck. I'm trying to think like
no,
maybe like
I haven't.
Like an exponential distribution? Yeah, probably not. I try to explain it. Okay, it's like there's like an area under the curve that's shaded, right? And then we like, what's the likelihood that a dart lands under this area under the curve, right? But the curve is within a number line that's infinite amount of numbers.
I mean, but didn't you already say that the set of all possible universes is like countably infinite?
Yeah, but I'm saying there's an infinite amount.
Are the set of natural numbers countably infinite?
Yeah, they're countably infinite. What, the set of natural numbers? Okay. Or countably
is the set of all even numbers countably infinite?
Correct.
Okay. Is the set of natural numbers half the size of the set of all numbers?
What?
Or sorry, all natural numbers.
Yeah.
is the set of even numbers half the size of all natural numbers?
Yes.
It is?
What? You're saying it's a set of all natural numbers? It's not the set of all natural numbers.
The set of all natural numbers and the set of even numbers.
You mean odd numbers?
Yeah, they're the same. Yes.
They're the same size, right?
Yes.
So if they're the same size, then that's not 50%. That's 100%. That's 100 over 100.
No. I'm saying it's 50-50 split.
But it's the same size. So what? If they're the same size, what's the denominator over the whatever it's called?
Yeah, it's just going to be the case that it's going to be 50-50 because, like, say, for example, I'm saying 50-50 because of, like, we have this side, right, that has the same amount of numbers as the right side. The left side has the same amount of numbers as the right side because you compare them up 1 to 1.
Oh, I can hear you.
But this doesn't even like, okay, look, right? So let's do it this way so you can understand what I'm saying. All right. So let's go back to the worm analogy. Maybe we could do it this way, right? The worm could either be
wait. Okay. Here, let me try this. All right. The set of all natural numbers is x, right? And the set of all even numbers is y.
Okay.
And the size of x and y are equal. What is x over y?
That's not how you do it. So let's just say, like, for example, okay, you said the set of all natural numbers is x, and the set of all the set of all natural numbers is x, right? And the set of all even numbers is y, right? And you're saying
if
x
they
over
are
y.
both this if they are both the same size,
it wouldn't be x over y.
What is x over y?
It wouldn't be x over y. It would be x over
y over x.
It's not. No, listen. It's supposed to be x over y plus x. You got to do the number on top, the number of successes, over the total space. The total space is x plus y. Because you can either choose x or y. But let's talk about the
Didn't we say that x and y are equal?
No. Yes, the x and y are equal. Like, listen, right? So yeah,
that's what I stipulated.
Yeah, x equals y. So if x equals y, and you have a fraction of x over x plus y, it's going to be 1/2. Now let's do the worm analogy so you can understand better with, like, continuous probabilities, because it continuous distribution, so you can understand. But yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're right, Algramore. You can't add infinity to infinity because it's just going to be infinity. I agree. You can't add infinity. That's why we don't do it this way.
It's just still going to be x over y equals 1.
But that's not how we do continuous distributions. Forget about that analogy, because that analogy is not going to work that way. What we want to do is this. We want to do some, like, normal. We want to do, like, a continuous distribution curve, right? So we have, like, a curve, right, or at least, like, some sort of continuous distribution, right? We're under the curve, right, where we have, like, between 1 and 2, and between 1 and 1.5 is shaded. That's going to be a 50% of all possible numbers being shaded. Even though there's an unaccountably amount of infinities, it's still 50%. So, and a good example of this would be, we have worm x that could take on the values. The worm x can grow between 1 to 2 inches. But worm y can grow between 1.
Lost, man. You can move on.
No. Between 1 and 2 inches, how many numbers are there?
Sage, you're in it now.
Hold on. Wait, Sage. Between 1 and 2, how many numbers are there?
Paperwork for work, man. I'm sorry.
Fuck, man. Literally was gonna give you a good example, bro.
Sage, come back.
And I'm sorry.
Bro, between 1 and 2, how many numbers are there?
Just put your 2 weeks in.
Infinite.
Okay, exactly. So let's say between so a worm can grow between 1 and 2. All right, 2 inches. All right, worm X. Worm Y can grow between 1 and 1.5. Let's just do it that way. All right? That means
not making it easier for me.
It's really easy. It's really easy. All right? What are the matter of fact, just one worm. I was going to use one worm. So it's so much easier. Just one worm, okay? The worm can grow between 1 and 2 inches. What are the chances that the worm grows greater than 1.5, given the even distribution of what happened?
I know. How much? I have to do some shit for work. Sorry.
It's supposed to be 50%. It's literally 50%. It's all equally weighted, given equal weights.
It's not all equally.
Release, bro. Release him right now.
It's really easy. What are the chances? Look. The worm can grow between 1 and 2 inches. What are the chances of it growing greater than 1.5, given that there's like a uniform distribution curve?
Actually,
Wait,
what do you think, guys?
It's 50%. Yes. Even though it's an infinite set.
I don't get it, but I'll just say 50%. I'll just say 50%.
It is 50%. Yes, it is. Even though there's an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2.
What? Okay.
I could just imagine AR just having Sage in the chokehold, like.
Holy shit! It was not that hard. It was not that hard.
Say it now.
I still don't get it. I just know the answer you're looking for, dude.
Just imagine AR in front of Sage holding him. How long is the fucking way?
Sage is like, release me.
To be daddy.
It's
really simple. It's really simple. Given a uniform distribution, and then you have some sort of uniform distribution there between 1 and 2, the chances of a worm being greater than the chances of that worm growing to greater than 1.5 is going to be 50%. That's just,
I'm not too sure this argument. This argument is pretty good.
Given a uniform distribution. What are we saying, Bobby G?
I think this argument is very good. I just think that it relies on like some definition, a good definition of God or some prior or something.
I have a question with the like I started to ask this question before, but then I had to run into my shoe. But
yeah,
you're defining universe as all physical things that exist.
Yeah. All things that physically exist.
Okay. And so in an eternal universe, there's something physical that it always existed.
Yeah.
So it's either something always existed or something began to exist, right?
Correct, yeah.
Right. And under the notion of began to exist, you're saying that it could either be the case that something non-physical created it or something physical created it?
No.
Are you holding to non-physical things? Because God would fall under the non-physical.
Yeah, no. It's either the case that something caused it, and that thing that caused it is either God or not God, and it's gonna be outside of the universe, so it has to be quote unquote non-physical.
But remember, God here. Yeah, God here is a specific type. So I could run a parity argument based off of this exact same line of reasoning that would make certain views completely more improbable. So, for example, let's say I took naturalism, right? Let's just say naturalism and non-naturalism. Well, naturalism is going to be far more improbable than non-naturalism, because naturalism here is going to be stipulated as just the cause that the universe is purely by natural means, or it's purely in virtue of natural causes and effects, right? Now, if I run this and I say, okay, non-naturalism actually stipulates every single God model and every single non-naturalist position, then it's just going to be true based off this exact same reasoning that naturalism is far less probable than non-naturalism. This is why this argument just doesn't have any force.
Yeah, but you're saying non-naturalism as in that not. Yeah, I would agree that non-naturalism could be more likely than naturalism. It's
the exact same argument, right?
Yeah.
And
I agree that it could be the
Yeah,
case. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, and you can run this. You could run this on an eternal universe. If you take a certain model of a universe, right? So the Silic model of an eternal universe is far less probable than all non-Silic models of eternal universes. You can run this on multiple different versions of an eternal universe. It's just going to be representing this type and token distinction regarding like these logical priors. But upon a single posterior probability, it just falls apart. Or I'm sorry, upon a single prior that someone is going to have in like the real and actual world, the argument just falls apart. It doesn't have any force behind it that the theist should even consider for a second, right?
That's if you have an argument.
No, it's
If
not
you
that
don't
if you
have an
have an argument.
argument, then you don't have an
It's not if
argument.
you.
This is a baseline argument that wins without any
Yeah,
extra.
Yeah,
yeah.
like,
So if you run into a theist and just say, "Hey, I think I have justified reason to say that the universe is non-eternal," the argument dies.
but I feel
No,
like
no, no. I don't. Wait, hold on. Wait. If you say that the universe is not eternal, right? I don't think there are any arguments that can get you there. Or at least I don't know of any.
Oh no, you can make like a nomological argument. You could say, like the majority of scientists today hold the Big Bang based off of like background radiation and stuff of that nature. You could just make like a scientific argument and say,
And then
I think
what?
because of these
Hold on.
reasons,
Wait. What's the second?
I think because of that reason that an eternal universe is far less probable.
That's not true at all. Hold on. Wait. Scientists don't even actually. Matter of fact, there was a survey.
Well, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter of whether or not you think it's the case. We're talking about the force for the theist, right? Because an argument.
That's not. Wait, but that's not what science states.
No.
Science doesn't posit that there was an eternal or non-eternal universe. Science doesn't make the claim.
He's not saying that. He's saying that like you could use some sort of
No,
scientific.
you cannot. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the reason why I left it open. No, there's a reason why I left it open-ended.
He's saying that it's possible. He's not saying that that's what science says. He's saying that it's possible to make a scientific argument.
There's not.
Yes.
No, Seb.
It's impossible to make a
Hold on, John. Do you think that science posits? Do you think that the consensus?
No. We're not talking about posits. We're talking about the possibility. We're talking about the possibility space.
Yeah. I'm talking about the possibility too. The possibility.
No. You said no. When you say science posits something, you're referencing like the actual world. You're not representing just like the logical possibility of it.
Yeah, you could take like some anecdotal evidence.
I'm talking about given the state of affairs we have today, what indicates to us that the universe is not eternal? Nothing.
Yeah, that's just going to be that's going to be in virtue of your epistemology.
No. It has nothing to do with my epistemology. It has to do with all the scientific findings that we have today.
That is.
It has to do
that the universe is not eternal. That might not be what convinces you.
John, you're breaking up, but the scientific.
You understand what I mean?
The scientific consensus isn't that the universe is not eternal. That's not the consensus.
About the consensus.
I don't think he's talking about consensus. I think he's just talking about like you don't even need to use that. He could just say someone that I don't know felt God or something.
Like he's saying like with like it's possible.
I'm saying look, hold on. Seb, look. Do you know of a scientific argument that gets into the universe not being eternal? That you would say.
No, but I have heard one. I've heard of an argument.
Can you give me? It's not the Big Bang model, though. That's not.
I know it's not the Big Bang. I know. I don't know one by memory. But what John is saying, right, is that it's going to be possible for somebody to use science to make an argument for a beginning to the universe.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like if you're gonna appeal to scientific consensus, or if you're appealing to one esoteric model, right? That's not going to do it.
He's not saying the argument's going to be sound, right? He's just saying it's possible.
It's not a good. It's not going to raise the probability of the proposition any more than 50%. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because for every scientific model that you could find that the universe is not eternal, you'll find an equally eternal universe within a scientific model, right? So there's not like this whole it's more likely to be the case that it's not eternal over eternal. You can't substantiate the argument. The argument doesn't go through. Not in science, at least.
Yeah. So your argument again, it's against a specific type of God, right? In logical
Yeah.
space, representing like the Christian God. It's just a type of God that is a creator, which could be accounted for in multiple religions.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yeah.
So again, just like the analogy I gave with the mammal in the hole, all you're saying is non-mammal is more probable than mammal. But
Correct.
upon a justification that someone has in reference to possibility, it's just not going to bring any sort of force. The argument doesn't have force behind it.
Like,
No,
maybe
you're
not
saying
for
you're
the
saying that the
person.
argument doesn't have force behind it, but we don't have any reason to believe that it's a mammal. So you should withhold the judgment until you have evidence that there's a mammal there, right? So that's the whole point I'm trying to do there. Now,
Yeah,
when you give
but
an
if you
argument for a
asked me,
mammal,
if you asked me if I had evidence for God's existence, do you think I'd say yes or no?
you say yes.
Yeah, so is the argument going to be of any force to me if I believe that I have evidence for God's existence?
Huh?
Is the argument going to be in any way forceful to me, considering I have like a justification, or considering I have like a prior in which
We could talk
the
about
argument
this.
doesn't really
Yeah,
touch
no, I get what you're saying, John. But right now, like even before we start debating, like even before we start talking about like all of these priors, because I also have priors, right? So you and I have priors, but before we even give those priors, I'm already winning the race. Atheism is winning the race because atheism encompasses a lot more causes than just a specific form of theism.
But
Now,
if I just specify, so if I give a type of atheism, right? So let's say it's an atheist that's a naturalist.
yeah, but
Then
I'm not.
you would have to agree that like the type of God is for every God that is a creator of the universe, right? And the type would be for every atheist that is a naturalist. Then any other explanation is just going to be more probable than an atheist that's a naturalist.
Yeah, but I would still be an atheist. You haven't.
And that includes God in that
John,
probability.
but John, you could dismantle all my other worldviews, and I would still be an atheist. So even if I'm not a naturalist,
No, that's fine. I'm just saying your argument doesn't have force behind it because
no,
I
it
can
doesn't have
parody
force.
the argument.
It doesn't have.
I can parody the
You could
argument in
refuse.
such. I can
John,
I can
you could
parody the
refuse.
argument in such a way. Oh,
I see
are
what
we?
you're
Are we
saying.
like? I wonder
Let's
if
go
we're
down that road.
missing.
Let's talk about it. John, let's
Wait,
talk about it.
I think there might be a delay because we keep talking over each other, and I don't think it's on purpose.
It's definitely on purpose.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Man, traffic. So can I?
Fuck.
I got a phone call. Sorry. I can parody the argument in such a way that makes God more probable by just not instantiating a like a token of God or a type of but instantiating a type of God that is not the creator of the universe, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's actually not an argument for it. So if I just say something like this, my definition of God is an immaterial mind that is the ultimate foundation for reality. Okay?
Great.
That would be the definition of God that I use. Now, that's not instantiating that the universe is not eternal.
Okay.
We agree?
Right. So now.
Do we agree? Okay, so we're going to take into account.
Okay, so God is the grounding, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this would be the argument that I would give, and it's just going to be a parody of your argument. Okay?
He just changes it to the universe is grounded by God, or is it is not grounded by God?
No, yeah. So John, I would do something like this. This is how I would give the argument. I would say either the universe is grounded or not grounded, and if it has a grounding, then it's grounded by God or not God. It's the same thing. It's still 25%.
Oh, give me one sec, AR.
Are we done yet?
Never be done.
You think we'll ever be done?
No, I don't. I think you'll be doing this for fucking ever.
I'm glad you realized.
Done when I say we're done.
This all started because I got AR riled up. Holy shit, fuck. Oh my god. Okay, so then that was scary.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back.
Something fell off the back of a truck and almost hit me, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. What was it that fell?
I don't know.
Final Destination type shit.
Yeah, it's Final Destination. It's fine. I dodged it. I'm good.
Are you driving and you're on a live?
You like TikTok Shop?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm in an Uber.
And you said I dodged it. It sounded like you were saying like you took responsibility for dodging it. So it sounded like you were driving.
But
Taxi driver, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my Uber driver dodged it. Whatever. Fuck.
All right, so the whole point, John, I was trying to make is that we obviously wouldn't use like I'm using the definition against you, right? So when you're saying like when you're defining God as a creator to the universe, then we're gonna like okay, we'll see the universe, we see that it could be eternal, not eternal, and if it has a cause, then the cause could be God and it could be not God, right?
Yeah, but we're just saying it's not. We're just saying the universe is not. It's not contingent in the sense that it is caused, but rather that it's contingent in reference to its like eternality. So if someone just stipulates that that's their definition of God, right, and it could be the case that in the logical space it is either an eternal universe or non-eternal universe, and that God still exists, then they're still instantiating. They're still instantiating a type, right?
Yeah. But the argument wouldn't run that way. The argument wouldn't run that way because it doesn't make a difference between whether or not the universe is eternal or not eternal. So there's no reason to run the argument that way. How you would run the argument would be: is the universe grounded or not grounded, right? By something. And if the universe is grounded by something, then that the universe is either grounded by God or not God. Or the universe just grounds itself, right? So it's either the case that it's self-grounding or grounded by something else. If it's grounded by something else, it's either grounded by something that could be anything, X, or it could be grounded by God.
Yeah, but now you're just giving like in the words you would use. You're just giving it only two options. You're giving either grounded by God or not grounded by God.
No.
Right?
The only two ways I can see out of this, John, are you have to demonstrate the necessity of God, or you're going to have to argue against the probability space.
John, you hear me? Infinite. Like I'm saying, like John, look, this is what I'm saying, John. I'm saying that the universe is either grounded or not grounded.
Yeah, exactly. So the not grounded explanations are going to be, because we're talking about a type, the not grounded explanations are still going to be more probable because there's a set of more non-grounded explanations, right?
No, I'm saying like the universe is either grounded or not grounded. And if it's grounded, it's either grounded by God or not God.
It doesn't even matter if the probability space is uneven in that case, John. If you do 25, 75, and then you do half of the 75% that's remaining, that's still less than 50%.
Yeah, it's still 25%.
Yeah, but that's the point. That's the point. If you can do a parity argument that does the exact same thing to the other view, then
wait,
it's just
you're not
not
doing anything to me. What are you doing to me?
Yeah, I already did it in reference to like a specific type of eternalist model, right?
I'm not. Look, I'm talking about theism versus atheism. Atheism wins out.
Yeah, but again, that's not going to be forceful for the theist in any sense.
No, I'm saying you're not giving a parity argument. Can you give a parity argument for why God would be more likely than atheism? Can you give a parity argument?
If you give me a second, I might be able to come up with one.
Okay.
I'm very confident I could. It just might take me a second.
Okay. All right. Once you do it, then I'll be like, okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. you do that, I'll be like, yeah, you got it, man. You broke my argument.
Well, I mean, what you could do, I'm thinking about this. What you could do is take the polysemous definition of atheism that, like, most people use, right? And just reference that atheism is not the instantiation of a no-God world, but rather it's the lack of belief. And you could probably make a parody argument off of that, because that's a specific type of atheism, right? It might not be the scholastic or academic definition, but you could say, okay, here's a type of atheism that actually still allows for God's existence because it's just a suspension of belief. And so if I take this specific type of atheism and suspension of belief that still allows for God's existence, then I think the argument could absolutely run that way.
How? What? Wait. Atheism that believes God exists?
Because in that definition, no. In that definition of atheism,
what allows God to exist.
In that definition of atheism, it's still saying God is logically possible to exist.
I'm saying God is
logically
possible.
So if I was attacking, no, I'm saying if I was attacking atheism with this argument, I would say God is more probable than not probable in virtue of like this polysemous definition.
I don't see how the definition itself is doing. Like, look, right?
Because
what I mean by atheism. Hold on, wait.
No, I'm giving you what I mean by atheism. So by atheism, I'm just going to say the suspension of belief, right?
But that's not.
And so the suspension of the belief. Wait, no, it absolutely does. If I'm arguing against atheists,
it doesn't work, John.
It doesn't work. I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't work, John. No, it doesn't work because we're only talking about an argument. We're not talking about dosastic. We're not talking about dosastic states. We're talking about the actual existence of God. We're doing an ontological argument, not an epistemological. We're not doing an epistemic argument here. We're talking about whether or not God exists and whether or not it's true or false. So now, given whether or not God exists, right, we're saying God exists only in a certain small space of all possible universes, right? And we do that by doing this thing that we're doing here. And you could do it either.
Hey, give me a second. I have to make a call. Give me a second. I have to make a call.
AR, this argument, when you define God, are you defining God as a cause to something, or a cause to the universe, or a grounding of the universe?
A cause. I mean, it works for grounding as well. It doesn't change it. Like, if you put grounding there, you're just literally just switching one word out, grounding instead of cause. So I would just say, like, it's either the case the universe is caused or uncaused, and if it's caused, then it's either God or not God. And then you could do the same thing with grounding. Either the universe is grounded or not grounded, and if it's grounded, it's grounded by God or not God. Like, it's the same thing. I mean, it runs through the same exact way. And it seems as though we're kind of equivocating now on what it means when we talk about like atheism winning here. What I mean by atheism winning is just the denial of the proposition of God's existence or the negation of it, right? Like, that's what we mean there.
Have you tried figuring out the purpose of your life?
Fuck! Why did John leave?
Think about it.
Yeah, it was interesting, bro. Like,
bro,
it's interesting it's interesting that he brought Danny over here. Like, that was cool. That was cool as hell.
That was actually pretty cool. I have to give it that.
Yeah.
Even with kids, he found time to bring Danny here.
That was wild. Yo, John got pulled. John got pulled. He brought like somebody that's like been on TV and shit just over here. Like, look, like here, just talk to this guy right here. Like, damn, he got pulled, bro.